Yeah, we've picked 69 cities that are important to the financial world. So if your portfolio cares about a city, it's probably in this report. And I think the interesting thing, when we first started this report in 2012, US cities were outside the top 10 comfortably. It wasn't the most expensive place in the world to buy anything. You didn't get the top salaries when you adjusted for US dollars. And over the last 13 years to now, US cities have gone right close to the top on many of our most expensive cities, and you're rivaling the likes of Geneva and Zurich. I probably think this is close to the peak because the US dollar is still pretty overvalued now, and I think you probably needed a catalyst for that to turn. And I think this year's events probably mean that US cities are at the peak in terms of expensiveness and might slip down the rankings in the years to come. So that's a key kind of conclusion, I think.
Interesting. And who is poised to rise in the rankings and displace the US? How does London stack up?
I think London is always going to be expensive, but probably doesn't have the economic forward to probably be the most expensive city in the world. You do need a little bit of momentum to get that. I mean, look, Geneva and Zurich are perennials at the top of the chart. And, you know, if you look at the track record that the Swiss have on inflation and currencies, they have the best track record over 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. So it feels difficult to see how Geneva and Zurich aren't going to be kind of at the higher end of the purchasing power parity and prices in the years to come, really.
Jim, I had a lovely disagreement with an intellectual, an academic on Friday about whether people are leaving London because of tax changes to non-doms. And despite every bit of evidence I gave him, he said it's not true. Anyway, we're going to have to agree to disagree on it. But some of the places where people are making the exodus to, emigrating to, I'm hearing a lot of reports that they're getting really, really expensive. And primarily, I'm talking about the Middle East and the UAE, which is just seen as this fantastic, no-holds-barred, brilliant destination, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. And look, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of both places. But the costs of these places now, and I just noticed on your list of a few things, they're beginning to pop up. Riyadh, Doha, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Just give us a little bit on that trade. Yeah,
look, when we did the report in the 2010s, the Middle Eastern cities were, you know, well down the ranking in quality of life, well down the ranking in terms of cost, but they are probably the biggest notable movers up in the last few years. They're not really quite in the top 5, top 10, but they're kind of in the teens.
So it's interesting you say that, because I'm hearing whether it's food, whether it's gym memberships, whether it's healthcare, whether it's the kids' schools, if, you know, a lot of expats take the whole family out there as well, automobiles as well. I'm hearing it's picking up across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, our survey covers average costs. It's, I suppose, with all due respect to you, the people you talk to are probably at the higher end of the spectrum, knowing you as I do. And therefore, yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the high-end stuff, I think the Middle East is starting to be really quite expensive. And that is because it is attracting probably more people.
I'm just going to pick up on the two categories that I care about, wine and cappuccinos. So wine, number one.
Go to Italy.
Well, apparently. I know you've got Singapore as expensive, and I used to live in Singapore, and that is exactly right. That it's been for a long time. It's been a long time since I lived in Singapore. All the extra taxes, very expensive to buy a decent bottle of wine. But you put Singapore, Jakarta, Seoul, New York, Oslo, some of the most expensive. But you say, so Rome is one of the best versions of this.
Yeah, I think in Italy, doing the research for this, there is still a culture where people expect to have a cheap glass of wine and a cheap cup of coffee in, you know, cafes around town, etc. So there is a kind of a self-regulation to prices of those goods in Italy. So if you love a cappuccino, if you love a glass of wine, there's probably no better place to go than Italy.